YouTube? I'm back again. Do it, Dan. Back it again with the white bike. Go ahead and unsubscribe for that one. Thank you. Get that one out of the way. Right now, I am on my way to the doctor. The doctor. This is Dr. Rough Buddy. Yeah, I talked about how, like, I found, like, a weird bump in my chest. Hey, it's Trump sticker. Make America great again. I've decided I can't talk about presidential elections because everyone is so passionate that it means that you can't have fun with my videos. So I have to figure out who I'm voting for, whether it's Trump or not Trump. Whether it's Trump or not Trump. You just pass me. It's like as soon as I give like a fucking opinion about who I'm voting for or like who I think would be a good candidate, all the fucking opposing sides are like, oh my god, I can't believe you're voting for him or her. First of all, I'll say one thing. I'm not voting, but if I was voting, it wouldn't be for Hillary. What are you doing? I'm gonna like totally fucking get in right here. I don't know what you think you're doing. I'm gonna kind of just go around because Altima's being a cunt. You cut off, dumbass! I'll fucking leave your ass so quick, you have no idea. By the title of the video, you guys are probably like, Dan, what's your addiction? You know, because the title of the video is probably something along the lines of like my addiction or something like that. And this is something that I actually kind of want to talk to you guys about because it's kind of fucking ridiculous, but it's 100% true. So, you know, this isn't about like my addiction to drugs or whatever. You know, I've had my fun with drugs, you know, like whether it be like, dude, like, drugs aren't really my thing. They really are not. You know, like I'll smoke if it's available and I'll definitely drink, like, yeah, definitely 100% drink all day, every day, whatever. But the thing is with drugs, it's not really ever been my thing. Like, don't get me wrong, like, don't have fun, party, do you, whatever you're comfortable with. You know, I've had my fair share of fun. I've done my hookers and blow. Like, I'm good on cocaine and like other heavy drugs, you know. They're just not my thing. But I had this issue. I'll call it an addiction because it was like really hard for me to stop type of deal. I'll call it an addiction because I think that's what it was. But when I was 15 or 16, I started to dabble into this thing. And by the way, before I really get into this, I know it's gonna sound fucking ridiculous. I know that there's people who have, you know, I'm sure some of you guys are recovering alcoholics or drug addicts and stuff like that. I am not downplaying y'all's conditions. I'm really not. I'm not putting myself on that same level with what I'm about to tell you guys. I swear to God, I'm not. I can't imagine what it would be like. My father used to be an alcoholic, so like, I know what it's like to go through that type of shit as a family member, but I would never know the struggles of it personally. So please don't act like I'm putting you guys' addictions with like my issue that I had a couple of years ago. Like, please don't put it like that. I'm not trying to offend anybody. I'm not trying to say that, you know, I was addicted to this as much as you were addicted to that, you know. So that's not what I'm getting at. What I am saying here is that I did have this issue where I couldn't stop. And this is 100% true. I dabbled into something called lucid dreaming. I'm sure this is where a lot of people are sighing like, oh my god. Lucid dreaming is basically where you kind of like force yourself to realize that you're in a dream, you know, through like cues and hints and like different types of training your body. Basically, you tell yourself like, oh shit, I'm in a dream right now, and then you're aware of the dream and you can control the dream. It's a very real thing. It's very cool. If you guys are unaware of it, you might have said, oh, you know, I've done this before on accident and I realized that I was doing it and then woke up, something like that. Well, after I learned about it, I made it my mission to do it. And it got to the point where I was like, I really trained hard to get myself to where I could lucid dream every time if I wanted to. And it took about a year to get there to like where I could do it every time. And I mean, think about it, dude. Anything that your mind can imagine, it happens. And it feels very real. And it got to the point where I was doing it every time I went to sleep. And it got worse. I would start taking sleep medication. I started taking like sleep medication to like get me to go to sleep, and I would sleep 15 hours a day. And I think the addiction part kind of comes into like the whole like sleeping medication kind of deal. Like I would take like Advil PMs or like, what's it called, like those PM supplements, you know, that make you go to sleep, you know, shit like that, and it would knock you out. And I would just like fucking just go crazy on that stuff, and I would like take way more than I should have, and I'd sleep for 10 hours, 15 hours in a day. You know, I'd go to school, come home, go right to sleep, and not wake up until I had to go to school again. I had missed school, like it was bad. And a lot of people didn't know I suffered with this. I don't even think that my parents really knew. They just thought I was a lazy kid. But it was true, like I couldn't, like that's all I wanted to do. I was escaping reality. And like it's kind of a hard thing to talk about because it sounds so stupid. It really is. But it got to the point where like I separated myself from like my real friends because I wanted to go home and sleep and get back to the life that I created in my mind. And I know it's fucking really weird, and I almost don't like talking about it because it's embarrassing. It really is. But I share a lot of stuff with you guys, and this is one thing that not a lot of people know about me, is that dude, it took me years to get over this shit, you know? I almost treat it like, and the reason I say it's an addiction is because I felt like I was addicted, like I didn't want, and I'm sure there's another word for it, I really am. It's not a drug, really, it's just a state of being, and that's all I wanted to be, was in that, like I wanted to be asleep 24/7. And it was really cool because like I kicked it, like I stopped it. I don't want to say kicked it because I keep feeling like I'm talking about drugs, and I don't want to belittle you guys, I really don't. Or your family members that have suffered through addiction, like please don't let me put myself on that level with you guys. It's like the stupidest thing you can get addicted to, fucking sleeping, you know? But it's true, I created like this whole alternate universe. I could do whatever I wanted, dude, like Dragon Ball Z shit. I could be fucking Goku if I wanted to. Anything your mind can imagine becomes reality, and it's really scary because if you think about it like that, because it really works like that. Like you think, you know what, I feel like flying, so you literally just fly away. And it's not like you can just like, it took me, like I said, about a year to get to where I could do it regularly through like certain systematic like things that I did to my body, you know. I'd set an alarm every hour. I would touch my hands to see if they were they felt solid or not. Like I tried to put my hands through walls and shit. Like it was really weird. And it got to the point, this is where I knew I fucked up. I know this is a serious video. It's not exactly funny like it normally is, but this is when I knew I fucked up. I was in class and I was sitting there. It'd been a couple hours. I'd been in class for a couple of hours. And I was doing my whole day like I normally do, and then I looked up and I fucking woke up. I had been in school for like literally hours, and then I woke up and I was in my bed. I had no idea that I had been dreaming that whole time, and it threw me off because I had no idea if I was really dreaming or if I was awake. It really just fucked my whole sense of being, like who I was. I could no longer tell if I was asleep or if I was in reality. And I'd have to do tests every day to myself for like a month, maybe even longer, to figure out whether or not I was awake. It was the weirdest fucking thing, dude. It was so scary for a long time. I would be doing something that I thought was real, and then I'd wake up. And that was like the most terrifying feeling ever, because I didn't know if I was awake or asleep anymore. And I stopped doing it on purpose, the whole lucid dreaming thing. And I started like testing myself every day, like, okay, am I awake or am I asleep? Am I awake or am I asleep type of deal. And it took me like a couple of months, I think, to get out of that. I'm gonna pull this shit off again. Like every now and again, I'll catch myself and I'm like, oh shit, am I awake or am I asleep? And it's fucked up. It's scary, dude. Now, I've never tried acid before, or LSD, whatever it is, but I assume that's kind of what it's like. You're like, what is going on? I don't know what's going on right now. And it's just so weird because like anytime something really crazy happens to me, like something bad, like even when I was in my accident with my motorcycle a couple years ago, I had to wait a couple of minutes to like really figure out, okay, did this really happen or was I dreaming? And it's fucking terrifying and I hate it. Because it's basically fucked me up. And this has been years since this has happened. I think I was like 15 or 16. I am 22 now, almost 23. As of April 12th, I'll be 23. And it just really fucks with my head sometimes. And I think people notice something's not right with me when I'm like acting like weird, but they don't know why. It's like no one knows about this shit. Like not even my closest friends knew I struggled with this. And it's just because it was just so weird and embarrassing, you know? Like any day I expect to wake up and still be in high school. Like how fucked would that be? It's like, it's kind of like a nightmare type of deal. So that's just kind of something I struggled with for a long time. And I can't remember exactly how old I was when I fixed it. Like I started fixing it and I was doing better. And then that movie Avatar came out. You guys remember the one with the blue people? The Avatar by James Cameron? I fell in love with that movie. It is still today one of my favorite movies. And when I watched it, I watched it 3 times in a row. The same day it came out, I fell in love with that movie. And then you know what happened that night? I fucking lucid dreamed. Unintentionally. Like, I don't know how else to describe it. Like, I know a lot of you guys who are familiar with it are probably gonna be like, what do you mean unintentionally? That defeats the whole purpose. But it's like I realized I was awake. I realized I was in a dream and I couldn't wake up. It was just the fucking craziest thing, and I hated it. I hated that feeling. And it started happening again. I wanted to be that guy. Like, I wanted to be fucking an avatar. I know it's fucking gay sounding, so fucking stupid sounding, but it's true. Every night I dreamt about it, and then eventually I stopped it again, and I've been able to kind of control it now, like, you know. And I try not to do it, you know, and I try not to lucid dream. If I feel like I'm in a dream, I fucking do something stupid, like really stupid, to make sure that I'm awake. It's fucking absolutely terrifying. Not being able to distinguish reality, it's all fucked. Time to go get my titties checked out.